Is CO2 tolerance training important for beginner freedivers? Quick answer is no, but if you want to know why and what to do instead, keep watching this video. And for those of you who are first time here, my name is Sergey, I'm a freediving instructor trainer, and on this channel I'm helping you to become a better and safer freediver. So what is CO2 tolerance training? Usually it is a series of relatively short breath holds with short recovery time. So the recovery time can be slowly decreasing during the exercise. It can be start from 2 minutes and then decrease to 30 seconds, or it can be constantly small. So for example, the freediver do a series of breath holds, whether it is a static or dynamic, and then recovery time always, let's say, 30 seconds. In this case, CO2 level is slowly accumulating in freediver's body, and this is why contractions or urge to breathe starts much early. And why freedivers do such training? Because we believe that if we expose ourselves to high level of the CO2 continuously, then our receptors, which is responsible for detecting high level of CO2, is gonna lose their sensitivity, and the next time when I'm holding my breath, when my CO2 level rise, my receptors is not gonna react to it, and they're not gonna trigger respiratory system to respond. There is going to be no urge to breathe, there's going to be no contractions, and thus I can hold my breath comfortably for a longer period of time. So this type of training absolutely legit, it have their benefits, and I would say majority of freedivers do this type of training. But the question, does this type of training the best for the beginner freediver? And as I said, it is no. And let me explain why. First of all, this type of training requires a lot of time to improve your results. Over the time, receptors gonna slowly lose their sensitivity, and yes, freediver, because of that, gonna have an urge to breathe later. But this is gonna be a long process. It's not going to be over 1 day or over 2 weeks or over 3 months. It is a long process where gradually your receptors lose their sensitivity. Okay, it's still not a bad idea, right? So if you keep training, then yes, you're going to lose sensitivity to high level of CO2, and then your comfortable breath hold is going to be longer. But in my opinion, the most important part which beginner freedivers should ask: why not, instead of learning how to handle this level of CO2, learn how to produce less CO2? And then if during your breath hold you're gonna produce less CO2, then your urge to breathe is also gonna come later, and you can hold your breath longer comfortably. But this can be done in a shorter time. How you can do it? The answer is technique. Improve your technique. If you're talking about dynamic apnea, if your technique is not good, if your streamlining is not good, if you're looking forward and produce a lot of resistance, if your kick is not efficient, if you're not doing it correctly, if you're not using the gliding, then yes, you're gonna produce a lot of CO2. Instead of focusing, okay, how to handle this high level of CO2, please focus on how to produce less. Please improve your streamline position. Work on your kicks, work on your gliding, work on your churning, and then you're going to produce less CO2, and your breath hold is going to be much more comfortable in a shorter period of time. The second part on which you should concentrate is your ability to relax. And again, I know that everyone's saying, okay, you need to be relaxed, you need to be relaxed. How exactly I can be more relaxed? There are a few ways. First, you can practice a lot of breath holds, maybe 20 times per session, and all of them gonna be easy. So let's say again you're doing dynamic apnea, you start your dive, you're kicking, you're focusing on your technique, you're focusing on the streamlining, on the body position, head position, arm position, etc., etc., and then you're working on the technique only. However, since you are still doing the breath holds over and over and over, this is gonna help you to be more relaxed, because you're gonna be comfortable with this activity. It's gonna be no stress, okay, what I'm doing, is it dangerous or not? So you're gonna get used to this activity, and then you're gonna be more relaxed. And guys, let me know in the comments how long you can hold your breath without urge to breathe. What is your comfortable time? And guys, as a benefit, even when you're practicing easy breath hold, relatively easy breath hold, even if after even if you stop each time when you have an urge to breathe, your CO2 tolerance slowly rising as well. Okay, it's not gonna be rising that fast compared, let's say, when you expose yourself to the high level of CO2, but it's gonna be much more comfortable. If it's gonna be much more comfortable, there is a higher chance that you're gonna stick to this activity, which is a freediving. I know there is a freedivers who like really intense CO2 tolerance training. They like to suffer from these contractions. They feeling they do something, and then when they do like no contractions table, they feeling okay, like I too gentle with myself, I need to like push harder. Guys, you don't need to push harder as a beginner freediver. Focus on two areas. Focus on your technique and focus on your ability to relax. And as a benefits, if you keep doing breath holding, if you keep doing static or dynamic apnea or depths, your CO2 tolerance gradually improve even without focus on this type of training. But in reverse, if you're focusing only on the CO2 tolerance, it will not automatically improve your technique. You can be crazy good in the different static CO2 tables or dynamic CO2 tables, and your technique still sucks, right? But if you're focusing on the technique and relaxation, your CO2 tolerance slowly gonna be improved. And guys, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not against CO2 tolerance training, even for the beginners. Like when I have a beginner freedivers, we still do CO2 tables, but we mainly do it just like to check how it looks like, what the sensation during this table. So we do it occasionally, but it is not our main focus. Our main focus, relaxation and technique. How often I would recommend for you to do CO2 tolerance training? Maybe once per week. Like if you're training, let's say 4 or 5 times per week, maybe once per week. If you're training 3 times per week, maybe even once per 2 weeks, but again, mainly concentrate on your technique and on your ability to be relaxed, both during your relaxation part, during your first easy part, and during your first urge to breathe as well. So how it can looks like, you start your breath hold, let's say your no contractions time is 1 minute 30 seconds. Okay, you can hold your breath 1 minute 40 seconds. So first 30 seconds, you're working how to be relaxed without contractions. This is the easy part. And then for the next 10 seconds, you learn how to be relaxed with the contractions. But you know it's going to be only 10 seconds. And this is why you're not going to be like over tense, you know, like, okay, it's going to be short one. Okay, guys, hopefully this video was useful. Again, a few things to remember. A beginner freediver doesn't need CO2 tolerance training. At least it should not be their priority. What they need to do instead, they need to work on their technique and they need to work on their ability to relax, and this also gonna automatically improve their CO2 tolerance. So guys, if you like this video, if you found this useful, don't forget to click the like button, and I will see you next time.